welcome to another Checiegirl Creations video. So today I will be playing with watercolors. I'm using my A6 watercolor block, and I'll make sure to link the tutorial on how I made those. I have an A6 and an A5 one in an iCard in the top right hand corner. So I'm taking off that painting that is like a work in progress. I don't know what to do with yet, so I can use a new one. And I like my watercolor blocks because it stops the paper from warping, and I find it's actually better than taping the paper down. And if you would like to see this video in real time with real-time commentary, you can become a Patreon from $3 a month, and you'll get early access to my Friday videos. So I'm using this round brush. I'm sure you've probably seen me use it, or maybe just on Patreon. Well, anyway, I've been using that a lot for my watercolor paintings because it's big enough to make a really nice wash, but it's also got a really nice point, so I can add some like detail. So I really like this brush. It came in like a pack of 5, I think, with Hobbycraft. So I want to go see if I can get that singularly. I don't know if I will, but I really like that brush, so I'll take a look. So today I'm just doing a watercolor doodle. I was struggling with art block. I still am a bit. And when I do that, I do one of a few things. I sometimes like do an art challenge, or I time myself to like challenge myself in some way, or sometimes I do just like doodle like with watercolors or acrylics. I like to doodle mostly with watercolors. I find it's a bit more freer than using acrylics. And it dries pretty fast, and I think I did this in like around an hour or something, or maybe half an hour, like around that time. I didn't even spend that long on it. And the colors I use are lemon yellow. That blue color is, I think, phthalo blue, maybe some viridian and white. That's just leftover paint from my succulent painting I did for Color Palette Wednesday on Patreon. If you haven't seen that, there is a post of the picture of the illustration on my Instagram as well as my Facebook, so all of those accounts will be linked down below. And then the orangey color I use, I think, is called Cadmium Red Hue, which is the orangey color. And every time I finish using a color, I do like splash it on the background just to add a bit of interest, because I found there was a bit too much white space, so I added some splashes. And the orange was just to kind of like add a bit more definition, as well as like brighten it up a little bit. I found it just looked a bit cold with like the yellow and the blue. And all supplies I use will be listed in the description below, if you're wondering like exactly what I used, as well as the colors. So if I got anything wrong, that will be down in the description. So that was the initial layer. And I'm going to go in and doodle with my black calligraphy ink by Winsor Newton, as well as using my dip pen, my calligraphy dip pen. And I'm outlining some areas as well as like doodling some designs. And I like to take like different areas of the design and kind of like move it around so they don't look like singular bits. I want the doodle to look like it all goes together. So you'll see I kind of bring stuff together as I doodle along. And oh, I did want to mention that my needle felted custom dog portrait brooches are now available for order on my online shop on Store Envy. So I will link that down below so you can find it. My shop is always linked down below in the description, but I will link the product itself down below as well, so you can find it nice and easy. And yeah, so that is now open for custom orders. I thought I would just mention that. I launched that yesterday. So yeah, so you can see how I've added some like lines, some diagonal lines, and like some dots. And sometimes when I'm doodling, I'll pick whether I want to go angular, like geometric, or like really curvy with circles and fluid. But I kind of went a bit of both with this one. Some angles, some dots. I kind of mixed it up. And I was thinking about doodling with the watercolors over, but I found that the watercolors I used was just so light and so bright that I needed something to ground it, which is why I went in with the black calligraphy ink. And I do like using calligraphy ink to doodle over my watercolors. I just really like the strong contrast, and I like playing with inks. That's one of my top 3 mediums I would say I like to play with. So you can see like I've done teardrop shapes, on the top, and then I will incorporate those teardrop shapes in this kind of sun ray kind of thing that I'm doodling on now. I don't really know how to describe it. So like, and so there's teardrops in two places on the illustration, so it just kind of brings it together so it doesn't just look like everything's kind of floating about. And that's like a good way to be able to make sure that your doodle does look as if it was planned, even though it probably wasn't, because mine my doodles are never planned when I first start them off. I was just throwing down color in the end, but then it does look like I was planning it out once I add the doodles. So that's like a great way to bring your piece together. And I like to go quite slow when I'm doodling, especially when I'm following lines. This is sped up quite a bit. This is like 4 times per frame, I think you call it. Yeah, so it's sped up quite a bit, but I do move quite slowly, just so I don't like smudge anything. Oh, and one way to make sure you don't smudge something is a good idea to start on the opposite side of your dominant hand. So for me, that would be on the left side of the page, and either like work from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. Actually, I think top to the bottom would probably be better. If you work bottom to the top, your arm might smudge the bottom. So yeah, but ink I find dries quite quickly. Like by the time I move on to another area, it's most likely dry. It's only when like it's an ink wash or there's a lot of ink in one space, it'll take a long time to dry. So yeah, so just like start on the opposite side of your dominant hand so you don't smudge anything. So you can see how I'm like bringing that spot that has those diagonal lines, and I kind of outline like the scallops. I'm bringing that into like this cross section. So I did also put the scallops on with the paint to like pull everything together, and kind of like in a diagonal way. So there's like orange kind of like in a diagonal, and then there's the blue and the yellow in a diagonal as well, and it all kind of comes together in the middle. And then I'll also add like the diagonal lines in like that cross section as well. And one area you'll probably see soon, so like the top cross bit, like the horizontal bit, kind of looks as if it's going over and under like the orange lines, so that when I'm adding the diagonal lines, it does go like underneath that horizontal cross section. And I just thought that would be like a kind of cool thing to incorporate just for fun. And I did like how it looked in the end, like how it just looked as if there was more dimension to it than when it first started off. So I really liked how that looked. And if you guys have any kind of like tips or tricks on like how you deal with art block, feel free to put it down in the comments below. I will have a few videos showing the techniques that I do use with when I'm trying to like beat art block. So there's about 3 videos coming up where I'm like doing different things to kind of sort out my art block, just kind of get it away. I like to kind of create. Sometimes I do take a break if I'm like burnt out, but if I'm not burnt out and for some reason one day I just wake up and I'm not feeling very creative, I just continue to create on. I don't like to let art block like beat me, so I just continue on. So, and I do need to continue to create because I have videos to make, so I don't really have a choice whether I need to like have a break or not. I just have to keep on going. Oh, and I did add some black splashes as well, just to kind of ground everything else. So again, the main focus wasn't like floating. So yeah, so I just continue to create, and I don't put too much pressure on myself. As long as I create something, I'm happy, whether it looks good or not. It's not too much of a worry. What I am surprised is that I'm still creating like good looking art. Sometimes when I'm going through art block, everything looks terrible. But yeah, I'm still creating really nice things, and you'll see like as I post more stuff that I am creating pretty things. It's just a bit harder to create them at the moment. So I thought everything looked a bit too dark now, so I'm going in and adding some highlights using some white gouache, and gouache is like opaque watercolors kind of. I'm no like expert on gouache. I've only used it like a couple times, but yeah, it's like opaque watercolor. So you can use it, you can water it down like watercolor, or you can use it and like layer it up, and it will like, it'll be opaque enough that the layers will stand out from like other layers. So I'm using the white over the watercolors so that it does stand out. And I was a bit messy when I was doing this, so I will have to go over with the black calligraphy ink again just to kind of tidy up some of my lines. But yeah, that stood out nicely, and I did like how that looked in the end. It really brightened things up, and this is when I was just really happy with how everything turned out. I didn't add any white splashes though. I didn't want there to be any splashes on the like main design. I figured there was enough white in the background that there was like no need for any white splashes. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to sign off now and put on some music for the end of the video. Of course, there'll be a close-up at the end of the video like there is. I'll make sure to link the watercolor block tutorial so that you can see how I made that, and do check out my Facebook and Instagram to see photos of what else I do create on Patreon, because you do get to see the photos. And please do check out my Patreon if you would like to support me further. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. My new schedule is every Friday. So yes, so thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Bye!